Nobody's gonna know what I was just doing.
Nobody's gonna know.
Everybody will know.
Nobody's gonna know. They're all gonna know, Patrick. They're all gonna laugh at you, Patrick. Look at you, Patrick. You're a fool.
Huh?
My voice is silly right now.
Yeah, what happened to
Can
you?
I tell you why my voice is silly?
No, I would rather you not.
Well, it does have to do with our first segment, Venue Review. How much is beer? No, I went to go see the Menzingers last night. Yep, okay, do the jump and
Come
all
on,
over my
Stanley.
stuff.
Jesus.
I went to go see the Menzingers at Emo's in Austin last night with my beautiful wife Stephanie, and I got to do a quick little review. Menzingers, they're great. They did a real, straightforward. They didn't. So there's a thing I realized every band should do is when the new album comes out, you go on tour for it and you do heavy. You can do a lot of heavy new music, and then you wait. This is why I think a new album every 3 to 4 years is good, because you do that touring cycle. Then you go on another tour where you go old classics heavy, so you can get like 2 tours out of one album, and you can make like everybody happy in that situation. Because
do a best of, and then record a live album as you're doing the best of tour.
Yeah, you could do that as well.
Something like that. Like
that's also an option. Yeah. But the Menzingers have that problem where they are like 6, 7 albums in, and I wouldn't say they're past their heyday because they never got like big. They're just they always like went under the radar, but they've always just been one of those bands that like I feel like now they do fine. Like we were at Emo's, it wasn't sold out, but it was pretty full.
Yeah, that looked pretty good. Like you were in the back also. Is that Steph's preferred standing spot?
Yeah, and I got to be honest, at this point, if it's not a hardcore show, I'm going to stand in the back or off to the side at the bar. I don't really need to like get in the mix.
My spot's almost always the same.
Yeah.
I think it's always going to be mouth of the pit.
Yeah.
And then with the option to upgrade.
Yeah. Jump in, do a little ditty. No, gotta be
no ditty.
No ditty.
No ditty.
Oh.
Not gonna be doing
I
any
know.
ditties.
I've seen you, Pat. You get in that pit and oil it up. That's what the boys call it, at least.
I do, but I don't ditty, okay? Ditty-dum, ditty-doo.
No, I agree. When I'm not in the mood to get in the mix, do a little two-stepping and a little throwing the arms around. Yeah. Edge of the pit, half drunk, that's beautiful evening.
Oh, yes.
Beautiful
you
evening.
Sway. You're swaying either way. You're swaying either way.
You like feed off of the energy. You push a guy here or there. It's lovely.
Pick somebody up. It's beautiful.
Pick someone up.
I'm a useful guy at your show. You're gonna want me at your show.
Yeah.
No matter who you are. If you don't have a pit, I'm gonna start one. So like, if it's a country show, look out.
Yeah.
But if it's also like it's a thing where I know the etiquette.
Yeah.
I know the rules no matter what. There's just some that I don't prefer. There's plenty that I'm going to be like, this is just annoying.
Well, I was explaining the like etiquette of hardcore pits where, and it's funny,
at the Mezinger show.
Well, I was joking.
Staff, you're like, hey, if this was a hardcore show, I'd be up there. Okay, so and then I'm kind of a big deal at those shows. So like normally I'm back here because you're here, but like
no, I was joking with her because it's like when I'm at a live music event and the ice cold light beer hits my lips, I just go, oh, Andy wants to beat ass.
Yeah. You're standing back. If it's me, like I sit there and go like, I'm gonna get a beer, and I go, and it transforms, and there's the whole thing that happens. But I just notice that I'm back in line to get another beer.
Yeah,
and I'm just like, yeah, I'm gonna need another one right after.
Oh yeah,
right as soon, like I'm like in line going like, what do you want? And they go.
And I do actually. Speaking of crushing beers at the venue, I was overly critical of. I don't know. I don't want to do too much heavy lifting to defend, because it was a Live Nation venue, but basically, if it's not your buddy's basement, it's a Live Nation venue at this point.
Emo's is that indoor?
Do you remember where Come and Take It is?
No.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, he said come or take it. And I was just like,
what?
Come or
take it, and then I come.
Come and Come and take it.
Oh no, that's right. We all went to go see Taylor's band at Come and Take It. I didn't realize Emo's is literally on the other side of the shopping center.
So it's like an outdoor.
No, it's indoor.
Indoor. Yeah.
Yeah.
It looked pretty big. Looked pretty good.
It looked pretty big. So yeah, still giving it up to the bands. I appreciated what Menzingers did. Like, I don't know if I just have good taste in music, but they hit like all the songs I like.
Yeah.
So that was sweet. And they were smart too with like the opening band was. Did I realize last night? I don't really care if the lead singer can sing well. I actually
really?
I actually prefer if they don't sometimes. I gotta be honest, because it was like two girls.
So we got to re-record the Tim Armstrong thing again.
What?
So we got to re-record the Tim Armstrong thing again, huh?
Oh no! I wasn't talking about mumbling over guitar. I'm talking about attempted it. That's why I like.
You're talking about hitting notes.
Yeah. Okay. Jeff Rosenstock was always one of like my favorite artists. And he to this day just like I'll give him benefit of the doubt because he has so much passion and it's so like great to listen to. But he has a very non-traditional punk rock singing voice.
Dave Grohl favors the filter. I'll tell you that much. If I'm gonna curb your enthusiasm, he favors the filter.
He also favors pussy that's not his wife's. And
doesn't roll off the tongue as much, but yeah.
And to tie into the topic today, he also favors firing former drummers of the Vandals. Yeah.
I saw that.
You saw that?
That guy found out, and he was just like,
the same way.
There's like news stories about how devastated he is.
He was like, I thought I was doing a great job. He's like, I really liked being in the Foo Fighters.
I like being a Foo.
I loved fighting the Foo. I thought we were going to keep fighting the Foo for years and years and years.
A tattoo, the Foo.
And a tattoo for the Foo.
Yeah, that sucks. Poor guy.
Yeah. I'm always amazed. We talked about it with Blink-182 and
shouldn't have left the
Matt.
Vandals.
What?
Shouldn't have left the Vandals.
Just saying. Hitler bad, Vandals good. Also, Foo Fighters bad, Vandals good.
Yeah. I can't wait to get into this album.
I'm very excited.
Very weird fun facts.
I read a bunch of. I was listening to the album a bunch this week, and then I read a shitload of articles about the lead singer of Guttermouth today. So I'm very excited to get into that too. But the first band was called something with jeans. I can't remember. 2 Pairs of Jeans or something like that. And it was like 2 girls who sang really, really well. And I was like, I just, can you be an alcoholic man?
Yeah.
Like,
what's going on here?
It was good. Like, Steph liked the band. It was one of those things where it was like, if that's what you like, that's fun. I just know. I'm realizing for me, I was like, yeah, I just like
I need a little grit.
I like an alcoholic man who's just holding on for dear life. Oh, Queen of Jeans. So shout out them. And then there was another band called Lucero, which they sounded. What?
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, they've been actually. I didn't realize this, but they've been doing it since like fucking the late 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had. Dude, it was cool. There was just one guy in the audience. Everyone was kind of like enjoying it. You could tell when Lucero finished up songs, there was a good chunk of people there who knew who they were and shit like that. But there was one guy who was just like, just having the best night of his life. And I was like, he's jumping up and down in the back, singing every lyric, going fucking nuts. And I go, wow, that's the fun thing about music. When you go to a concert, you realize I am going to be in the vicinity of someone's like top 10 favorite nights.
I try my hardest in that situation not to judge. I really do.
No,
but I judge the fuck out of
your impulse is like, are you having unadulterated fun?
I'm just like, stop. I'm like, why are you just unabashedly enjoying yourself in front of all of us? It's in
front of people.
It's like it hits the same muscle as the like when you see a PDA, when you see somebody like making out, like tongue kissing in public, and you're like that's it's not like I'm not a conservative dude, but I'm also like it could be man woman man woman any combination,
dog squirrel,
and I'm still gonna go like, hey, come on.
Yeah, PDA sucks ass.
Like that, like that's not a PDA. That's like that's a public display of fucking.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Like you're like real pre. That's pre-fuck.
That's the room to do it in, though. If he was doing that at, like, if I was in HEB and this guy's, like, jumping around and he pulls a headphone out and he's just like, I love this Lucero song, I'd be like, not in the meat section.
Yeah. At the show, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I try not to judge because I'm like, this is.
But yeah, I get the impulse of just like, you're not supposed to be unadulterated happy right now.
I've also been that guy.
Yeah.
And have you ever seen the clip of Yair Rodriguez? I believe it was when Brandon Moreno won the title. It was either when Brandon Moreno won the title or who's the damn it. It was a Mexican broad, maybe. I can't remember. It was somebody won the title and he was so excited for them. He's like jumping up and down. Yeah. And the guy next to him obviously doesn't know who it is, but like he's in the same seats that like Yair Rodriguez is. But this guy he is leaping in the air off of this guy and like grabbing and going like that's no bueno. And he's just doing this and the guy's like and like have you ever seen that clip of the guy that is like facing down the U.S. Special Forces guy at the football game? And they're like, you have no idea how lucky he is because this guy's a Golden Glove boxer, blah, 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 all this other bullshit.
Oh, yeah.
It's like the same idea. This guy has no idea because he looks like he's about to like push him. But it's like, this is one of the most dangerous MMA fighters of all time. But he is so genuinely excited.
Was it at the UFC event?
Yeah. Like he's like, they're like not cage side, but like the closest you are at like the seats.
I would
not where Dana White is, but like the first row.
There's certain moments you kind of just have to go with it.
And this guy was like trying his best, but he's like, you're kind of ruining my shirt. Like,
yeah, like, I would have just. I feel like if you're at the UFC event, I'm a guy where I know all the big names. I know the Dustin Poirier. Yeah, that's how
hilarious.
That's how good I know them. But I know him by.
I know Justin Poirier.
Justin pour a little.
I know. Yeah, Poirier. He's a French guy or something.
But like I know all the big dudes. Like if I by their face, maybe not their name exactly. But like if George
Michael Chandler.
I know. I mean, he's my favorite.
Yeah.
Like if George St. Pierre walked by, I know all the big dudes and shit like that. But I'm also smart enough to know who also is probably an MMA fighter. And there is something. I also too. I'm a big guy who, well, in general I am. But I'm one of my big things is like whenever I go to a thing, I try to just go with whatever that vibe is, so I can try to have the optimal level of fun at this.
Yeah.
And if I just see a fucking, MMA dude spazzing, I go, I guess we're spazzing right now.
Yeah. It's like it's so funny because it's like it's. He's trying. It feels like he could tell that this guy is unhinged, and Yair Rodriguez in that moment was totally unhinged.
Yeah.
But like he was like still just side eyeing him, like he's tensing up and shit. And it's just so funny because like it's so pure.
Yeah.
But it's also like that is the the proper response. A true friend of his and a countryman is winning a title, and he's just like, I'm so fucking proud of you. And this guy's just like, okay, man, but like, I paid a lot of money for these. Like, he looks like somebody who just had enough money to get to those seats. You know what I mean? Like,
I can't stand people who don't. It's like,
it's so funny.
Like, I was seeing Sam Morril talk about that in some like Instagram clip I saw, where I guess he was like, fuck it, because the Knicks are. Did the Knicks just lose, or are they currently in the finals?
I think they just lost.
Okay, so he was saying that he wasn't going to go because the tickets were so expensive.
Yeah.
And then Stav hit him up, and he was like, fuck it. And they ended up dropping like $1,200 on tickets and shit. But they sat like basically courtside. Courtside, but pretty damn close. And he's just saying, he's like, yeah, dude, it's like the finals or whatever the fuck it was. And there's just these finance bros, like end of the fourth quarter, like getting up to go piss. And it's like making everyone stand up and all this shit. And it's just like, do you not know what this is? And I feel like it's the same way when you're sitting like front row at the MMA event next to dudes who are clearly MMA fighters. Also, dude, was he like some sort of South American or whatever? Because if I'm sitting beside like a Brazilian or something like that, I'm fucking. They seem like they know how to have more fun than my honked up ass. So I'm leaning into their shit.
It was when Brandon Moreno won the title.
Yeah.
That's what it was, and I found the clip. It's just 19 seconds. It's such a pure. But like the same, because I had the same thing with the at Lola Young. When we went to see Lola Young, there's these two gay guys that are just like singing every word and
Just
like
way gayer than the vibe of the room.
like going. But I'm like, this is the place. Yeah, this is like. Oh, Dom was singing at the top of her lungs. You know what I mean? Like the songs that I knew, I was excited to hear. Like, it's still a thing where like, I have to see that and go like, yeah, even though that's annoying, this is.
Well, it's
I'm
when
in the
you
wrong.
realize you're the odd man out. That happened
Yeah.
to me. That happened to me when I was I went to go see Take It Back Sunday back in the day, and there was like a bunch of annoying little girls in the line, and I was getting really irritated. Then I start like looking around, and I'm not gonna say their whole fan base is young girls. It's a lot of young girls, and I'll say this: their fan base now is a lot of dudes who aren't me. It's a lot of people who aren't me. So I start getting irritated. Then I'm like, you're odd man out. You can't really dictate the vibe anymore. But yeah, I will say too, props to that guy. He was jumping around a bunch, having a good time, but he wasn't running into anyone, which was good. So he wasn't making anyone's night worse.
I mean, it's so fun. God damn it! I wish this would fucking play, man.
But
sorry.
so wait, what were you gonna say?
I'm just saying, like, this is it's so funny to see this. Here, I'll just show you. I'll see if I can get it to play. But like, that's.
Oh, I think I've seen this. Yeah,
Like, he's like pushing him away, but like, he's just fucking psyched that his bro won the fucking title. And this guy's like, this guy, you know, he's like looking around, like, can somebody get this guy?
Why would you be? That's so funny to be mad about that.
Like, and how do you not, like, you can see the not understanding in the guy's eyes.
Yeah.
It's so funny. But just look up Yair Rodriguez celebrating Brandon Moreno.
Yeah. But I have to give major props to the venue, the Emos venue, because the first thing I noticed, and we've talked about this many a time, is I forget exactly what we called it.
Stage to bar ratio.
The stage to bar ratio. It was top tier. I walked in. We immediately go crush individual pisses. I see one bar, and I go, this isn't looking good. And then we go take a piss. By the way, multiple bathrooms. That was nice.
Clutch.
That was nice.
I honestly, if I'm being honest with you, I know a lot of these venues are interested in comedy clubs included. Nobody's exempt from this. I think all of these venues make money off of alcohol sales, alcohol and food, or whatever.
Oh, well, that's the reality of most entertainment venues.
But, like,
most entertainment venues, whether they're like comedy clubs or music venues, a lot of people are like, yeah, it's a music venue with a bar. And I go, nope, you're at a bar with a band in it. That's the reality that people need to realize. And I'm not saying it's good, but I'm saying that's the reality, and you need to function within that reality if you want to have positive outcomes. And if you realize comedy clubs are bars with comedians in them and music venues are bars with fucking bands in them, then you need to understand that.
But put a nice, big, efficient bar somewhere in there, but spend your money on bathrooms.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like, same idea. Have the same in and out, like efficient, clean.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying a trough, but like, come on. Like, why does baseball arena, why are they the only places that have, like, the piss
That's
trough?
a good point. They don't implement enough troughs in places.
People that go to concerts are we're animals. Yeah. Like, especially at most of the rock venues that you're thinking
I pay a lot of
about.
money to drink 8 beers and jump on people.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm an animal.
A lot of beers. And, like, you don't want me, I'm not going to be pissing on out here. I have a little bit more respect than that.
I would never disrespect the venue.
But
I would only disrespect the people in the venue.
Of course, yeah. But that's the thing: is bathrooms, multiple bathrooms, as well as efficient bar placement.
Yeah,
that's clutch.
Yeah,
I apologize. Multiple bathrooms, crushing pisses.
Multiple bathrooms that ripped, and I see the one bar, and then we go post up behind the soundboard, and I look to my left, I look to my right. You know what I see, Pat? 2 more bars. Emos, and it's like
I don't hate it.
I'm really bad at like looking at a crowd and guessing how many people are in there.
It looked like a good size.
If you remember the Electric Factory in Philly, mm-hmm. It was a little bit bigger than that.
I was gonna say it looked like a good sized open like theater.
Yeah,
like a good sized.
Yeah,
no seats, but like a nice floor. pit area, I guess.
Yeah, and then
it's those seats at the Moody Center would be $300 to $700 depending on who you're gonna see. It's fucking insane.
Yeah, and then each bar. So I was doing the math, and I was because I've been very critical over the beers at venues, and like especially too understanding how much beers are. Like there were 24-ounce beers. And they were like $15, which, you know, if you go, and everyone always gets, and I was the same too, where you get mad off of that because you know gas station prices. And it's like, but if you do that based off bar prices, because that was the cool part, they had the option to get a regular size High Life, $5.
Oh, really?
And then if you think about it, 4 of those, or 3 of those, would be a 24-ounce.
Like a 12
would cost
or a
15
16
bucks. 24-ounce.
Highlight for
I'm sorry. An 8, like a regular can.
Like a 12-ounce.
12-ounce, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was like, because sometimes I get the. To me,
I thought
technically,
there were 8.
No, the regular soda cans and whatever are 12.
It was 8.
This might be different because it's like a White Claw shaped.
It's like a Red Bull can.
But the like a regular Fat Boy can, like just a regular, like you would get in a 12-pack, would be, I believe, 12 ounces each.
Okay.
But what I was thinking of was the Miller High Life. To me, the regular can for that is the 16-ounce Tall Boy. But
no, I'm just talking like regular standard can.
12 ounce. That's pretty good. $5 for that. That's not the worst.
Yeah, and I gotta be perfectly honest too. Like, yeah, I at a certain point, you know, it should be cheaper based off of like just how much that shit costs. But I don't know. It's just like things are just like more expensive now, and I gotta be honest with the craziness of the world. Maybe I'm just giving in more, but there's something about a $15 24-ounce that doesn't. Maybe I just had a great night because these words coming out of my mouth feel insane.
Yeah,
I was like
$5. Even $5 for a 12-ounce can is kind of like it's a lot, but it's at least a reasonable alternative.
Well, I was doing the math of like bar music venue inflation, and I was like, all right, it's not crazy, it's not good, but it's not crazy anymore. Shout out to the Menzingers, great T-shirt prices, $35 for a regular shirt. $45 for a long sleeve, $60 for a hoodie. I thought those weren't too crazy.
My day, my hoodie price was $45.
Well, dude, I was talking to Steph about that. I was like, damn, dude, you remember when you like the concert prices were cheaper when we were younger. Like that was the fun part about going to a concert. You'd be like, oh, this shirts are going to be cheaper than they would be.
But we rode that for a while. We had that for I think a good up until I would say just recently. We were not getting even post pandemic. We weren't necessarily getting absolutely fucked.
Yeah.
But when Meshuggah's coming to Austin, and tickets are $300 a piece.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like, man, I really want to see Meshuggah, but I'm not paying $300 for one experience. I don't think ever.
Yeah, dude.
Unless it's like a somebody came back to life.
That's like one of the things that I think is going to change live concerts is people actually having like. I don't know. I'm not even trying to be a dick, but like self-respect.
You got to figure something else out.
Because like for me, like, and I get how they get people. Like I'm a little drunk last night. I'm watching the Menzingers from like I'm not a big lyric guy, but lyrically their music really connects to me. Yeah. And I'm like borderline hammered, like getting emotional. You know what I mean? Like one of their songs is like. If me and Steph if we renewed our vows, we would do our wedding dance to a Menzinger song. Like, that's how much I'm emotionally attached to this band. So, like, I get how people get caught up in the moment. And if you have disposable income, you could shell out $300 for a ticket. But also, like, I don't know, man. There has to be a point where you're just like, this is just what I will spend on tickets.
Yeah.
And I want to say, like, a venue like Emo's is probably my limit. Because... I don't know. It would probably be different if I was doing much better financially. But like even with a band like the Menzingers, they're like one of my favorite bands in the entire world. But if I spent $300 on a Menzingers ticket, I gotta be honest, it's not gonna be the same feeling. It's like they're an amazing band, but they're not. No band, in my opinion, is $300 a ticket magical.
And this is the distinction I want to make. $300 for the ticket. I can spend $300 at the show, with even including tickets. Let's say like tickets included. Let's say even if they're $50 a piece, which I still think is way too much
50
money.
is getting close to my limit per
50,
ticket.
but let's say that's after charges and shit.
Yeah.
Right?
Because I think Menzingers, I think I got the both for like just under 100.
Yeah.
Somewhere between 60 and 100.
That's
I can't
fine.
remember.
That's not the word. Like, you know, like, so, but then that's because I'm going to spend money on the, what's it called? The beers, the fucking merch.
Well, if you're
I'm gonna
going
be
to a
getting
$300,
parking.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
You know
If
what I
you're
mean?
going to a $300 a ticket show, you're probably paying like fucking $30 in parking.
And if we're starting at $300, that's just not a night I'm willing to spend. And
yeah,
like,
you're gonna have to buy a fucking $10 hot dog.
Maybe hockey playoff tickets.
Yeah,
and that's like, that's what I'm saying is I've spent. I think the most we spent was I believe it was $500 on tickets, and they were like right on the ice.
Well, sports
and like, but that had like drinks included, food included, like there was stuff included.
Sports makes a little bit more sense. Actually, sports makes a lot more sense to me because because it's like if
it's a record thing.
If our favorite band, the Lightning, if they go,
that's just
where's your cup? It's a shame. If our favorite team, I said band, if our favorite team, the Lightning, make it to the Stanley Cup. Like, that's worth going crazy for because they might not do that for a while or again in your lifetime.
Yeah.
Like, that applies to a lot of teams. So, like, that, it's like, I get it. Theoretically, I mean, it happened to me with Every Time I Die. I waited forever to go see them. I was going to go see them, and then they broke up. That sucks ass. But you know what I still have? I can still listen to those songs.
You also, at a lot of times at sports, like playoff games and stuff like that, they give you things. I got like a towel thing. It's like cheapo shit, but it's like you get like souvenirs.
That's nice, though.
You get the little towel flag.
Is that what that picture is?
No. That I ordered after they won, but like the like Dallas Stars thing right there. We just went, me and Nate.
Oh,
I
yeah.
get that little blinky thing. There's like a thing that lights up, and then a towel that has the.
Oh, dude! Like every fucking baseball stadium has bobblehead night.
Yeah, they have like that's what I'm saying. Is like,
I'd love a tiny.
If you're
bat.
going, yeah, if I'm gonna spend $300 to see Meshuggah, I want to get like a little packet of blood. Or something like that. I want to get like I want to get some kind of like a hat or like they give away like, so again, baseball tickets. You said like if you spent money at a baseball game, most of those tickets you can find for like maybe $100. Like good seats for like $100.
Yeah.
And then after tax or something like that's gonna come out to still less. 2 tickets less than one Meshuggah ticket at fucking Moody Center. And, like, that's the only place I'm going to see them.
Yeah.
So, like, that's the only place they're playing. I'm just not going to spend $300 because there's no giveaway. There's nothing. They're not giving anything back, and there's nothing included.
Well, it's like that thing everyone makes a joke where it's like, they'll be like, oh, if it's that expensive, it better suck my dick. But it is like, that's like a cornball joke, but it's the same sentiment where you're like, brother, I grew up where these were reasonably priced.
Yeah.
You're literally not giving me...
You're not offering any more.
Like, it'd be one thing if it all adjusted for inflation. Like, I saw a thing saying where, like, you could see Elvis back in the day for, like, $20, and adjusted for inflation, that's going to be, like, $50. It'd be one thing if I could go see fucking Billie Eilish for, like, $50 to $100.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'll pay that money to see those things jump in person. You know what I'm saying? But, like, it's like, no, it's an unreasonable uptick in price, and I'm not getting anything more.
Right. And like the same thing with like Brand New. When Brand New was coming around, or like to get like reasonably priced tickets, there were seats.
Yeah.
And if you wanted to be in the pit area, again, it's $300, and it's like, what are you doing?
It's a psychotic price for someone who is probably a pedophile.
He could be a criminal. Like allegedly, like
best case scenario, he groomed and waited. Most likely, he's a pedophile.
So, like, so even still, like, Rancid, like, if Rancid comes through, speaking of groomers, if there's somebody that comes through and like, I'm talking about, like, festival tickets that are $300, and I'm like, I don't know, it's only 2 days. $300 is a lot of money. Sorry, Stanley.
Festival
$300 is too much for one show. One same amount of time show. Like you said, This show a couple years ago would be let's say $100 a ticket.
Yeah.
Let's just say $100.
Yeah.
That's still crazy, but like $100 for some reason.
Wait, is Meshuggah legit $300 for?
It was Moody Center. Anything at Moody Center is going to be start at like.
Because I'm trying to remember. I was looking up
because brand new was the same, around the same. It's like the same pricing structure. I don't think it's the bands. I think it's the Moody Center.
Yeah, no, I was just I was looking up Riot Fest because Riot Fest is one of those when I eventually have enough money, I would love to go to Riot Fest because every single fucking time their lineup is like right up my goddamn alley. Yeah, dude, look, fucking, I knew it.
What?
3-day pass, general admission to Riot Fest.
$300.
$329.98.
3 days, and that's what I'm saying. And like something like that, I'd be like, I don't know. That's, you know what? It's gonna be a great experience for $300. That's like Disney tickets. Do you know what I mean? Like that's like I'm gonna spend an entire day. Even Warped Tour, dude. I know,
yeah,
dude. I know we're dating ourselves at this point, but dude, Warped Tour tickets.
My wife.
Warped Tour tickets for the most part,
40.
Yeah, $35 to $40.
It was like $40 after fees.
After everything, yeah, after stuff.
And you could get if you brought something to like donate to hungry people, you got like a couple bucks off your ticket.
And you could bring in one unopened water bottle with you.
Yeah,
you could bring shit. It's like brother,
dude,
like, you have to understand. 300. I love Meshuggah. I would love to have seen Meshuggah when they came here. But if somebody's not hooking up with tickets, I'm not gonna sit fucking miles away. And I'm not gonna pay $300.
Dude, and I don't want to like blame the fans because obviously like it's pretty obvious that Live Nation and Ticketmaster have a virtual monopoly over like large scale venues.
But what about emos? Like, do you think?
Wait.
Yeah,
they have a virtual monopoly. So I'm not putting the blame on the fans. But the fact that you guys don't have enough self-respect and you're gonna buy a $300 Meshuggah ticket, you're, to put nicely, not helping.
You're not helping. And like even like when we would go to the zhuzhier of venues, like the House of Blues, the Hard Rocks in Orlando, those were $35, $45 tickets. You know what I mean? Like, but we're gonna go see Danzig. We're gonna.
What year was this?
Early 2000s. Whenever.
Yeah, I think.
Remember when Doyle? I don't know if you remember.
No. You just like a couple decades ago.
Yeah, like
the point I was getting
when
at
Doyle
is
and Danzig synced
the
up.
The point I was getting at is like I just think it's a lot of this is a result of the Live Nation Ticketmaster monopoly, and it is because that's where you see the most outrageous prices anywhere. Any facility where they can just be, or any entity where they can essentially go, what are you going to do about it?
Yeah. Like
that's where prices are going to be the most ridiculous.
Unless I want to drive a couple hours to another venue. And like I've looked into it a couple times where I'm like, okay, they're going to be here. Who was it? Dulce, I think, told me, or somebody. No, who was it? Molly. Molly told me that there was San Antonio, I think, is better for hardcore shows. Like she said, it's really good. There's usually the tickets are usually cheaper. The crowds are way better. The pits are better and shit like that. Like,
oh, okay.
So like, I've heard those kind of references and shit like that. But as far as like looking into it, you're gonna still spend about $300 worth of each on each ticket to travel to another venue to spend less on a ticket.
I think at the end of the day, you just gotta either go to local hardcore shows or see independent wrestling.
Yeah,
because in
those prices are pretty consistent.
Any independent wrestling event at a fucking elementary school gymnasium is going to be 1,000% more fun than any concert you'll ever see in a stadium.
And it's going to be a nice round price for you. It's going to be $20.
You know what my problem with the concerts being that expensive? Like, it's one thing. Like, I've heard Nate, because he's secretly a gay guy, defend Beyonce, which I get it. But like, all jokes aside, like, she puts on a fucking show. It's like, dude, if I'm spending,
she's lip syncing for sure.
If I'm spending, maybe she's probably lip syncing at parts. If I'm spending $300 on a Blink-182 ticket so they can do shitty jokes and then just play the songs, I'm like, brother, I know these songs.
Yeah.
At least Beyonce is a fucking marching band.
Yeah, she has like she has dancers, or like, is she even dancing?
And there's got to be a lot of black ladies with fat tits jumping around.
Yep.
I'm not gonna see no black ladies in their tits at Blink-182.
You're gonna see chicks that were in their teens and 20s when they were big, that are in their 30s, maybe 50s now.
Tits ain't gonna be jumping like
Not
I want
nearly
them
as
to.
much.
Last thing about emos, whoever you got doing sound there, that man earns every goddamn cent of his paycheck, brother. You know what didn't go in my ears all night? The goddamn earplugs, because they didn't have to. It was fucking like, obviously I got home, you hear a little fuzziness because you're around loud music for 2-3 hours.
Yeah.
But I got home, it was pretty fun. And today, back to normal, back to the regular tinnitus.
Yeah, the regular,
But
the huge.
yeah, that was big. Because Menzingers is a band that benefits from like having some clarity and being able to like hear the lyrics and shit like that. So yeah, being able to stand in the back, not have to pop the headphones in,
Yeah.
I really fucking appreciated that.
Yeah, hell yeah.
But
So emos
yeah,
would be a nice alternative to Moody Center, guys.
as a sizable, they're like a medium plus venue, I would say.
Yeah.
They're a really good. That's a good night out where it's not gonna be cheap, but you're not gonna like spend. Oh, and their parking lot is oddly, because it was in an area of Austin where parking's not great in general. Their parking lot was very big and had a lot of room, easy to leave.
Should be called EZOs.
I don't think that would be a good move.
You don't think EZOs would be better?
No.
Oh.
But yeah. Anyway, should we delete this episode?
Yeah, actually, it wasn't recording.
Okay, good. I do want to say rest in peace to the former drummer of Devil Wears Prada. Their original drummer died in a plane crash. I was very sad. I loved the Devil Wears Prada so much in that era, specifically for their drummer.
Yeah.
Because a lot of like metalcore drummers, like because Devil Wears Prada when they first came out were that like emo-y metalcore sound. And a lot of their drummers just kind of like did the job the same way you hear a lot of like pop punk drummers do it. They just kind of like do the job, but they don't they don't do the extra mile. But his drumming was really like fucking over the top and crazy. So I was a big fan. He died in a plane crash. Fucking ran into a bunch of buildings.
Why'd they do that?
I don't know. I feel like they shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, honestly, you're supposed to go over those.
You know who didn't die in a plane crash?
Guttermouth?
Guttermouth and the Vandals.
Yet.
Guttermouth almost died in Mexico, but not in a plane crash.
Yeah, and they're also not allowed in Canada.
No. They're allowed back in.
Oh, they got. Oh.
Yeah, I read an article from 2017. He was still dealing with paperwork at the time.
God damn it, Mark.
But he can get into Canada now. So today we are talking about the albums Gorgeous by Guttermouth and then Hitler Bad, Vandals Good by the Vandals. And I got to be honest. Are they popping on? You're just clicking them.
Yeah.
I got to be honest. These two albums are like, dude, if we're like music sommeliers, it's a perfect pairing.
Brother, I'm going to tell you right now. Can I tell you? Hey, sit down.
Check if it stopped recording.
We're good. Both of these bands very easily could have been Pat's all-time favorite bands if they were, but they're before the Grace Go No Effects. Because like legitimately, the Vandals I'd say are a close second, and Guttermouth is a close third.
Yeah,
like that's how I would rank them, and they are interchangeable depending on like. I had just enough time where I had not listened to because I went heavy on the Vandals for a while.
Yeah,
and Guttermouth, both of them, and after a while, like you kind of just get sick of the era. Yeah, I know he's going nuts over the birds. But there's like, once like I had the hits kind of all downloaded for a while. I go through those after a while, and now that I have streaming at my fingertips, I'm revisiting both of these bands. And I'm telling you, the Vandals very well could be a top 10 all-time.
Top 10 for Patty?
I fucking love these guys.
Well,
but do you want to talk about your G-Mouth?
Sure, I can talk about G-Mouth.
You want to go G-Mouth?
But like both of these bands made me realize that brother, there ain't no respect out there for funny bands.
Brother, if you're goofy, doesn't matter how much you rip, you're going to be remembered for this.
Well,
oh, you the guys that talk about fucking a donkey.
I will say this,
you guys that
though.
talk about Kiss Army versus Bruce Lee. Yeah, but you know what? There's also deep-hearted troops here.
I will say this, though. After, what was his name again? Mark Atkins?
Yeah. He's a real goofball. He's the one I disappointed with my joke.
Oh, yes. This is the band.
This is the band.
You want to tell this? Remind the people of your story real quick?
I was in the band.
I love how much you hate telling this.
I was at
It's such a good story.
The Guttermouth show at State Theater in St. Petersburg, Florida, and I remember I was in the pit and I had somehow got myself right to the front, right at the end of the song, and they go, "Oh, so now we're gonna take a request. Just tell us what song you want us to play, and we'll play it." And they put the mic in my mouth, just out of nowhere. Just you, and I was like, "Play your next song," and they.
Dude, it's so funny because
he's like,
after that happened, he goes, "What?"
He goes. He does this. He goes, "What?" And then he goes, "I go, play your next song." And he goes like this to the guitar player. What? What did he say? He goes, "You said play our next song." So he said play the, and he goes, "Oh, okay. This one's called." It was so disappointing. But the song
dude, the mental image of him turning to the guitarist, like,
you're
over here,
yeah,
and he just turns to the guitarist, just like, the fuck are you talking about?
What did he just say?
What's this piece of shit talking about?
What the fuck is he talking? And they go like, it's no, you heard him right. It doesn't make sense. It's a bad joke.
No, because like doing that right in front of you too is extra funny.
Boy, oh boy.
Like I did that to a comic I just met the other night because we made up and he ended up being a really cool dude, but his intro to me was like a lot.
Yeah.
And I walk up and he saw the shirt. I was wearing the panties shirt.
Yeah.
And he was like trying to give me shit. He's like, "You wear your own merch?" I go, "Yeah. It's a free shirt. It's comfy, and it's cool as fuck.
And
my podcast
fits.
has merch."
Yeah.
And then I start going back at him, and I think I stutter like a little bit at one point because I'm like trying not to be mean, just bust his balls because I'm like being like, "All right, Andy, don't spaz. You want to spaz? Don't spaz." So I like stutter for half a second, and then he just starts hitting me with the and then I just like stop.
Yeah.
I turn to Lemaire and I go, "Who the fuck's this guy? He sucks ass."
Yeah.
just like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You don't know me.
I don't like you. Hey, yeah, that's when you start doing this. Yeah, you do the, I don't like him very much.
Yeah, and he's right here, and I just look at LeBaron. I go, "This guy sucks ass."
Point right at his face. You go, "I don't like this guy."
I did that. I was like, "I don't like this guy."
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the energy. My big takeaway. So I have a lot of things to say about Guttermouth, but my big takeaway is their what's his name again? Mark Atkins' lack of success is purely his own fault.
Yes. Yep.
Because
they went
when
for
you
the bit.
listen to Guttermouth and you know the bands that were popular at the time, you're like, there is no reason you guys shouldn't be one of the biggest bands.
They even had like another chance in like, I think it was like a later release. It was Covered in Ants. I remember before I looked it up.
My favorite album title.
So, yeah,
Covered in Ants is such a good album title.
It also doesn't match the cover art at all.
Yeah,
like it makes me feel like they had crazy cover art picked out, and because all of their other cover art is pretty like weird or crazy looking a little bit.
Yeah,
like somehow even Gusto after that.
Yeah,
but like the Covered in Ants had a couple.
They seem
like
a fucking
market, like they were on like movie trailers. If I
they
remember
seem
correctly.
like Covered in Ants makes them seem like a post-hardcore emo
But
band.
I think by that point it was so played out, that kind of thing, and there's other bands doing that, poppier bands, because they were edgier pop, edgy pop punk. I don't know, what do you call this?
I was reading a bunch because there's not like the only article, like not the only ones, but like the majority of articles I found on Guttermouth are like, Guttermouth's back after 10 years.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of shit from when they were like I'm sure there is, but
they probably would like as best for that stuff to be suppressed.
What was funny, like I also too, like I got to figure out a better method of searching for articles too, because when you search bands names, Google's just give you like every fucking website that has ever like reposted their album info and shit. So but then when I searched the lead singer's name, there was just a bunch of articles that were basically him getting interviewed in 2016 being like, so you got in a lot of shit because you sucked ass. Yeah. Oh, and also, like, learning more about the band, basically, they're a funny band, and the lead singer clearly has Republican politics. So that is, like, in that punk scene, that is, like, the big uphill battle for Guttermouth.
Yeah.
But no, they were like an interesting sect of punk rock where they claim anarchist and shit like that, but what they actually mean is like, I love being a nuisance.
Yeah.
Because every story,
edgelords.
Well, like every story, I was like, ooh, they got kicked off of Warped Tour in 2004. What happened there? And he's like, yeah, we would just like go up every day and shit on every single band we didn't like on the tour.
I think that's when I remember that story I tell of walking up while they're playing Lucky the Luckiest Donkey. And I'm just like, this is the best experience. 2 core show memories are me walking up to see them at Warped Tour, which must have been 2004.
Yeah.
And it was because like I would never miss a chance to see Guttermouth. And also the seeing them a different time at State Theater. But both of those are like times where I'm just like, this is like it's not because of their performance or because of their crowds, because they had huge followings. Yeah. And that was the thing, was that must have been a self-sabotaging thing because they had a following and a like they could have even gone like the Jackass route.
Well,
you know
they
what I'm
had
saying?
people.
Like,
they had people on
they're
their
pranksters.
They had people in their corner. So their first, I didn't realize this, but their first album, it was when the lead singer of the Offspring made a record label. He called it Nitro Records.
Oh, brother, I can't wait to talk about Nitro Records. That's the other communicating thing, and that was another big. That was a huge. Nitro Records had AFI, Guttermouth, the Vandals, had Jughead's Revenge.
Yeah.
Like,
But Nitro Records, their very first release ever was the first Guttermouth album.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so like you have the lead singer of one of the biggest punk bands at the time in your corner. They're getting on tours. They're getting signed to record labels and shit. I just think the reality of Guttermouth is the thing they do is it's fun at first, but you're going to wear on people's patience after a while. And it was just like, yeah, it kind of, because I think they formed in like the late 80s, early 90s. And it's just like, yeah, it lasted till about 2006. That's about when people got fed up with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I realized is like, because I'm listening to these albums. They're not just like fast, aggressive, and good. Because there's a lot of bands at that time, like especially when like pop punk got big. Pop punk got a little mainstream, and you hear some of these bands like, and it's a good song, but tell me 2 other songs of theirs. The you know,
you make me complete.
Yeah,
that's the other song I know. There's.
Okay,
you
so
make me complete.
Average person can't hit me with a 3rd, 4th, or 5th lit song.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like a lot of those bands, so it's not like they got popular off of like the moment. It's like you go back and you're like, oh no, these guys are just like good at making music.
Yeah.
It was all like, dude, from the jump. This is why I say Guttermouth, Gorgeous, and Vandals, Hitler Bad, Vandals Good are a good pairing while we're music sommeliers, because almost like the Vandals feels like, in comparison, it's like the Vandals album feels like you ordered a fancy IPA and you take a sip and you're like, that's actually really fucking good.
Yeah.
Like there's a really good one down here, Electric Jellyfish. When you drink that, you're like, I could actually drink a couple of these. That's actually really fucking good. And then Guttermouth is that like smash burger you ordered that it shows up and it's pouring out over the side and you need 20 napkins to clean yourself with. But when you're done, you're like, I'm going to shit my brains out tomorrow, but that was fucking amazing.
Yeah,
that's kind of the pairing of these 2 albums.
Yeah, it's like junk food.
Yeah.
It's like it's not even just junk food, but like, because that's the thing I was thinking about, like the fact that the Silly Guy bands necessarily didn't get the play they did, except for like maybe at some point Blink-182. But NoFX could have been that they're obviously the ones that everybody feels kind of Blink-182 stole from, or took their essence essentially to Steve Burnett.
Steve burned it.
But like then I think right under that, if they were as prolific as NoFX, the Vandals could have given them a run for their money.
You know what I think the problem
They
is
are
there?
the most marketable of
You know what I think the problem is there, though?
What?
I realized it.
The anarchist part?
No. You know the difference between Blink and NoFX and Vandals and Guttermouth is Guttermouth and Vandals got pegged as funny bands. NoFX and Blink got pegged as bands who are funny. When you are the funny band,
you have
people look at you differently.
They say that my girlfriend's dead. That's hilarious. And by the way, that song, I know we're not talking about mine yet, but my girlfriend's dead. I don't even know if that's on that album or not.
My girlfriend's dead.
Yeah,
It is.
It's every one of their quote hits, the ones that were, and when I say hits in this case, I'm talking about the ones that are in the Hopelessly Devoted to You volumes on the Nitro Records comps, which I was going to bring up in mine. Other ones that are like featured as their singles or something like that, which they're not marked on their Wikipedia for the Vandals, at least as far as what the singles are. But there's so many fucking hits, and they're so much smarter than they're getting credit for.
Yeah, and
you know
I think because I think both of these bands, the music is like
the music's untouchable.
Well, that's the thing. People. That's why I noticed I got reminded of with the Vandals, and I noticed right away with Guttermouth. Like from a technical standpoint, this music is very high level, but I think like the average fan like loses track of that because, dude, like I was looking up a bunch of shit, dude. There's so many funny Reddit threads on like r/punk, and it'll just be like, why does everyone hate Guttermouth?
yeah.
And dude,
I never understood it.
Well, there was a couple. It was very funny because I saw there's apparently one show. It's called like Punk in the Park. Apparently they did it because I saw multiple different comments saying the same thing where they did a show at Punk in the Park some year and Mark was just on one and they were like, he just sucked ass more than usual. But it was so someone in St. Pete had a good time meeting Guttermouth, so shout out St. Pete. But the thing that everyone came back to is everyone was like, they almost talked about it like it was professional wrestling. They were like, I liked it in high school, but then I just got older and I outgrew it. And it's like,
I don't think you outgrow the Vandals. I think you can outgrow Guttermouth, though.
Yeah.
But like you said, because of Mark. Because of like after a while, you're like, I don't know. I don't want to see a jackass like thing. Like I don't want you to prank us. You know what I mean?
Because the problem I've noticed from Mark is I read a bunch of interviews of his. And he loves to go back to like, yeah, dude, this fucking PC culture and blah, blah, blah. He seems like the guy who, like, it's one thing to have an opinion and then everyone comes at you. That's fucking people. If you disagree, you should still hear people out if they're being respectful. The thing with Mark is, from what I've gathered, he enjoys being a nuisance.
Yeah.
Like, specifically a nuisance. And then when people are like, hey, man, you suck ass, he's like, whoa, everyone's sensitive nowadays. And it's like, you're actively trying to get people worked up.
Yeah.
But then when people get worked up, you don't own it. And I think that sort of symbolizes the slow, like, decline of Guttermouth over the years, where I think if Guttermouth kind of like, if Mark kind of chilled the fuck out, people would be less. I think it's more just like Guttermouth fatigue for a lot of people, where they're like, it's that shit where you look back in, you're like, I had it with the Wonder Years for a minute. After like the fourth album of theirs, I was like, oh, so you're like, your whole thing is just that, like, I'm sad every single fucking day.
Yeah.
You don't got anything new to say. You, like, certain bands, and I love the Wonder Years now, but, like, certain bands you just get this, like, fatigue with, where it's like, that was funny a while ago. You're still doing it, though.
Yeah, he kind of gaslit himself to a burnout.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's really what it seems like, because there's no shortage, again, of pro, like we were talking about on the Tim Armstrong episode. Like, there's no, like, lapse of creativity. Like, the releases are great. The vocals are great. The energy is great. The production is great.
Have you heard their 2017 release? It's good. I listened to a little bit of it today. It's good.
I think the last one I heard was They had one early 2000s or mid 2000s, maybe something like that.
Yeah, sorry to cut you off, but it was just like
Yeah.
I'm highlighting your point of like they're a very consistent band.
Yeah, they're great.
They don't musically they don't miss.
And it's not like a thing where it's not a like. It's funny to say that you can outgrow them to the extent of like that one that I'm talking about, Covered in Ants, is their number one. She's Got the Look is like a song that you would hear on like any of those early 2000 like rom-com bullshits. But like, oh god damn it, hold on, it's giving me the DJ bullshit. But no, they're I'm
Hey
trying
Pat,
What?
I heard you talk about Guttermouth.
Yeah.
You want to listen to Fugazi?
Yeah. Yeah. You like Ian MacKaye, right? No, they're it was Shave the Planet in 2006 was the last one. Eat Your Face right before that. Were the last ones that I'd listen to. But I remember Gusto was the one where I was like, I think I gave up. Like I still I think I got Eat Your Face and Shave the Planet free because my friend worked at a record shop and she would give me demos.
Yeah.
But like she was the one that gave me that Blow Up Sheep from the Heavy Petting Zoo promo that they had at the shop. But but yeah, it's funny because it's like at a certain point you outgrow the antics.
Yeah.
But like the music, like I said, the Vandals, these aren't just like the same thing with Guttermouth. They're not just funny, goofy novelty songs. They're funny songs, but then there's also like even the in-between songs they have that value and they have that kind of thing. The first song on this album, off of Gorgeous, Hit Machine, is still one of the greatest bangers. Like that's a hype song for me. Hit Machine is fucking...
The album starts off real strong and just like keeps it fucking moving the whole time.
Yeah.
One other narrative tidbit that was really funny where he did actually have I was reading a thing because they got banned in Canada.
Yeah.
And it was
always the thing.
Yeah, because he but it was just funny because he apparently like did a whole elaborate thing and then just exposed his junk to the audience.
Yeah.
So he probably violated some decency law or some shit like that. And I remember the one quote, I forget the exact wording, but his sentiment was essentially like, that one was fair.
Yeah.
He was like, I get it. He was more just bitching where he was like, they said it was okay to come back, but they're making it hard to find the right paperwork so I can go back to Canada.
Yeah, he's like, he's like, it's so funny because it's like a thing that you hear and it becomes a rumor, like one of those things that like through the scene, like, oh, did you hear they were banned in Canada? That's so cool.
Yeah.
It's really just him. And it's for some shit. Like they actually, the ironic thing is they have that song about the B-52s having the lead singer B-52s being the lead singer of the Doors after Jim Morrison dies. But Jim Morrison, I wonder if that had anything to do with it, all that Jim Morrison research for that song.
Maybe.
And that he just exposed himself like Jim Morrison, like the Lizard King. He's really, even his like bits are hack.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they're really of the time.
Well, that's
late 90s, early 2000s.
That's the thing. His whole thing is fucking perfect for late 90s, early 2000s humor. It's just
that's not where we're going to.
I literally think that's why they fucking quit in 06 because it's like, yeah, you can't. That shit doesn't hit the same post 05.
Yeah, unless we're all unless there's a half pipe somewhere in the venue, you know. It like because again, they're great for skate comps. They're great for compilations in general, but like they are a great band that just that's not what we came to you for.
The sense of humor too.
Yeah, the sense of
dated.
humor. Yeah.
Because it's like I was watching. This is one of my favorite movies that aged poorly. I was watching Deuce Bigalow randomly with Steph, and dude, literally one of the joke. There's a interior designer character.
Yeah.
He has zero character development. The only joke is
he's gay.
That guy's gay.
Yeah. Hi, I just think that, and then you're like,
yeah, and he like gets shot.
Dude.
He's just like, oh.
Yeah.
That's like the vibe, because I saw a lot of people on Reddit being like, yeah, the music's good, but the lead singer's like really homophobic. Also, apparently, and I'm going off a couple Reddit comments, everyone kept calling him a cokehead, which probably, but the one dude claimed there was a bar in Florida that they tear the doors off of and had a policy of like no doors in the stalls because they said Guttermouth was doing coke in the bathroom all night.
Oh wow.
They're just
That might have been the Pegasus.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh, you know you probably know the bar.
There actually were there was that and the Orpheum. The Orpheum was another one that they didn't have doors on the stalls.
Yeah.
And I always remember being like, what's the point of stalls then? Because I remember thinking that who's gonna shit there, and I was like, who's gonna shit at a club anyway?
Yeah.
But I was also thinking vomit or just like the emergency dump. Like if you have to, sometimes you need that little bit of privacy. But yeah, there. I think it was the Orpheum, most likely. That they were. That's probably that. That's crazy.
Yeah. I didn't do a song by song of this album. The whole album rips.
Yeah,
I was shocked. It almost his like singing style on this album had vague notes of Davey Havok. It was really cool.
It's like a mix between Davey Havok and Fat Mike. I feel like a lot of times.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, they do. I could. It's funny too because I feel like I haven't listened to enough music like punk from this era. Not as much as I thought I did, and you are actually noticing the NoFX sound in more bands.
Yeah, this is.
I don't know if it's an influence or it's just kind of like this is the vibe at the time. But yeah, you can hear the NoFX sound in a lot more bands.
Yeah, this is my prime, like listening era. Like this from like 90, probably 97 through on, like current years, but also anything a little bit before early 90s to mid 90s stuff. Like on, that was my fucking jam for any punk band. But like Guttermouth, the Vandals, and NoFX were like in a real tight race to be who was going to be my favorite band. Also, Bad Religion for a while too. Because and even some of these, it really was just after a while, some of these other bands just kind of dropping off, and NoFX staying consistent in my eyes. Like they were a band that either I approved, I liked their growth, but or no Diddy, or there was or I was also like of a situation where like they stayed more consistent in my eyes.
Yeah.
But like Guttermouth and I feel like the Vandals both had like those later releases that I was like, I don't like. This kind of feels like not as inspired. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but
I feel that.
This era of both of them, I feel is like
just music in general.
All of them is just like holy shit.
Yeah. But I guess to wrap it up on Guttermouth, I think my biggest takeaway is you can really like it doesn't matter how good your music is if people don't want to be around you.
Yeah.
And like, you know what I mean? Like that was the shame because I was just like, you know, it like they're on par with bands of their time, like NoFX and fucking Offspring and shit like that. And I'm not saying Guttermouth was going to be like the biggest band in the world, but like if you just would have like chilled the fuck out and not have been so obnoxious in certain areas, like Guttermouth could have easily been one of the bigger bands of the time period. And last but not least, if you're a band now, try not to get pegged as a funny band. It's unfortunate, but it is the like nail in the coffin for fucking bands.
Yeah, it's crazy.
People are like, wait, you're not like
you become a novelty.
You're not ultra serious and super gay about everything.
Yeah, you get categories like that. That's the issue that I have with everybody when I was growing up, at least talking shit about Gwar. Was the fact of like they would get categorized as the novelty band.
Yeah, they get pegged as a gimmick.
And I'm like, but have you listened to the music? Like I'm telling you, the music is what fucking hit me.
Yeah,
the visuals were lovely.
Yeah.
I thought the visuals were great, but like it was the music. It's always been like that's the shit I would download. You know what I mean? Like it wouldn't be the videos; it would be all the audio files and shit like that on Kazaa, LimeWire, all this other shit.
Is it Kazaa?
Kazaa.
I always said Kazaa. That's the first time.
Napster. I'm one of them.
That's the first time I watched.
I'm one of them.
That's the first time I watched full-length pornography. Well, besides Skinamax.
But that era was me downloading as much Guttermouth as I can, as much Vandals as I can. NoFX. On a lot of times. I think you would recognize this, and maybe some people listening. This is what the show is about. It's for the people. So I hope if you're watching this, you understand what I'm talking about. But the long file name where it says No Effects, Lagwagon, Vandals, Refused, Rancid, blah blah, all these other things like where you're just like, well, which one? Who is this?
Yeah.
So like for a while you couldn't even tell sometimes.
Yeah.
But like I would always pride myself in knowing and renaming those files once I downloaded them.
Wait,
But
you could do that?
what, like knowing them, the names, the bands?
No, you like
like after you
people
download them, yeah.
When you would have it on your thing, people would download from you, right?
No, you know what? And that was the thing. That's what I thought. I thought my loophole was because I wasn't sharing. That was the other rumor I always heard was if you're not sharing music, technically you're not. If you can download it, it's the sharing.
Yeah.
And I was just like, perfect. Like
I eventually, you know what I ended up doing. I eventually found websites that had like mega upload links.
Yeah.
Because I was not good with any of that like pirating shit. I tried Pirate Bay one time.
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck was going on, and I never spent the time to learn.
Yeah,
it.
the torrents I learned after. I've adapted over the years.
Yeah, I never got into the torrents. I would just find because I was like, oh, if the website's hosting it, I can't get in trouble for downloading
Right.
it. They can get in trouble for hosting it.
Right.
Like if you get
That's what I always thought.
What?
I always thought that was always my logic was you're hosting it, you're sharing it. That's the illegal part.
Well, I think that's legal.
I'm helping to expose you.
I think if you use the torrent apps, that's illegal. But I think if like there was this website I would always go to called Strike Gently, and they would when it would come to all the like emo bands and stuff I liked at the time, they would post all the albums and shit. They very quickly shifted into just posting full Bang Bros videos.
Nice.
Yeah, that was kind of fun.
That's a great time. No, I would.
Oh,
do the
but
thing.
that's where I got most of my music for free back in the day is zip files on websites.
If I couldn't find the complete album to download that had the cover art, the names for all the title or for all the songs in the correct order, all that other stuff, I would always like fix it after the fact. But that was my key. But one of my favorites that I feel like had a lot of the. It was also compilations also, but I would find albums like this, like Hitler
bad, Vandals good.
This would be like I would just put in the title, and then that would usually show up. I double check the track listing, make sure everything was the same, and I feel like, but it still had the thing where like they had the hits, so like that would be on. What?
You're such a bad influence on me.
Why?
I'm hanging out with Steph, and I'm just like talking to her. I'm like, yeah, I'm like, no way. You can't just burp in your wife's face. We're not hanging out with Pat.
They love it.
They do love it.
But yeah, it's on Nitro Records.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying is like I had the quick story that I had about Nitro Records was I was in Florida. I think I've told this before. It was the Warped Tour was going to be in St. Pete. Downtown St. Pete that year.
Yeah.
And a friend of mine, my best friend at the time, and me were at Denny's the night before. And when we walked in, and we saw...
I saw Denny's coming down here. I was like, God, I feel like I could get Pat to hit up at Denny's.
I love Denny's.
I love Denny's so much.
But we're sitting there, and like I see in like a couple of the booths like across the way, it's pretty, like there's not a lot of people in there, is Dexter Holland.
Oh, really?
From The Offspring. And I was like, holy shit. And I was like, it's like one of those things where like, when am I ever going to see him like in this situation again? So I was like, hey man, I really don't ever really like, because at this point I had learned more etiquette about meeting people. I was like, I'm not like,
oh, they want to hear my life story.
I was like, I'm not trying to, I said, I don't want to interrupt you or anything like that. But I said, I'm a huge fan. If you don't mind, when you're completely finished, like I said, me and my friend are over here. I said, if you don't mind, if we could just get an autograph or just to chat. I said, but
you hit him with the drive-by.
Yeah.
That's
just like I'm a big fan, love you, but I want to kiss you.
That's what you do when you meet a famous person that you love.
But
is like you just hit them with the drive-by. You go, hey man, I don't mean to bother you. I just wanted to let you know this one song got me through a hard time. Big fan.
Yeah. Like I just the thing of like lifetime fan, love you more than anything. I just want to kiss you. Can I hold your penis in my mouth?
Do you need a new friend?
Yeah. Do you want us to? I'm like waving my friend. Do you want us to eat with you or just?
You look lonely. You probably want someone to eat with you.
Why are you just reading that paper? Yeah. But he came over.
You want to know about me, right?
We had ordered and stuff like that, and we legitimately left him alone.
Do you think musicians get? Because every time, and I love meeting people. I would never change a thing. I love that people go up to me and go, Andy, I listen to your stuff.
Yeah.
I love it. Actually, I don't even get this with fans. It's more just people who see me do stand-up and enjoy my stand-up, who don't know who I am. They go, you did great. Now I'm going to tell you about how I've thought about doing stand-up.
Yeah.
And you're like, and I'm like, do you think bands, like, you go up to Dexter, what's his last name?
Dexter Holland, yeah.
You go up to Dexter Holland, you know, I've considered being in one of the biggest punk bands of all time. How do you feel about that?
I've been thinking about being an influential band through the early 90s and early 2000s as well.
Hey, Dexter, you know how you have no idea who I am? Yeah. Well, these are my wants and needs. How do you feel about
Here's
that?
how long I've been playing.
This is what I feel about it.
This is what I think of you.
You know how you known me for 20 seconds?
No, I played it super cool and genuine, too, because... So, get this, right? When he comes over, and I didn't gush. I wasn't like, oh my God. I didn't make a scene or anything.
Well, that would be illegal if you just gushed all over him.
I just gushed all over him. But
you're like, Dexter, these are full. What are you going to do about that?
He finished eating, and we were sitting down and eating. It would have been so funny if while we're eating and he came over to the table and be like, Dexter, we're eating. Excuse me. Actually,
you know,
we're in the middle of something, man.
Don Rickles did that to Frank Sinatra.
Yeah,
this is one of my favorite stories.
Frank, I'm eating over here.
He's like, yeah, dude,
can't you see I'm with somebody?
For anyone who doesn't know, he literally goes over to Frank Sinatra. He's like, yo, can you come up to me in like
birthday.
5 minutes to make me look cool in front of my girl?
Yeah.
Comes over to him. He's like, hey, Don.
And he's like, Frank, please.
I'm fucking eating.
We're
another time.
Yeah, another time, please. Don't
Doing
bother
that to
me.
Frank Sinatra was one of the best stories.
That's the best story.
So fucking funny.
But no, he comes over, and as soon as he comes over, I was like, I just wanted to tell you. I said, your record label is one of like it. You have it's almost the same thing I've said to like Fat Mike in the past, like
yeah,
where it's this like thing of like you essentially.
I love your dress, Fat Mike.
Everything that really brings out your eyes. No,
wow, your wife makes tight knots.
Every band that you signed is like one of my like all time. Like
yeah.
And I said the influence that you've had, and I said the like that label Nitro Record, and he was just like, I think that's what kind of like he was like, wow, I swear to God, if it really sucks but in the meantime, there was another table of young dickheads that like sat right behind us. So when he walked over, the guy goes, I know you.
Yeah.
And did the whole thing of like, no, who are you? I know you kind of thing. And I was like, in the middle of this like he was so taken back that I wasn't like, remember that? You know what I mean? Like I was just like, dude, your taste in music is so superb. Like the Vandals, fucking Guttermouth, Sort of Jelly Bean, or no, who's the other one? Jughead's Revenge.
Yeah.
AFI. Like these are like I'm like that's all on one compilation. You gave me some of the greatest like mixed tapes of my fucking lifetime.
Yeah.
And he was just like he was genuinely surprised, and I think kind of like I think he appreciated the fact that I wasn't just like, oh, The Offspring, remember Pretty Fly for a White Guy? That was cool. Although, like, we didn't even get a chance to get to that point where I was just like, oh, by the way, your band fucking rips. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's crazy to know that.
At the end of it, you go, now, do you want to say something nice to me, Dexter?
and now,
do you
how about me?
Do you like my hat?
You ever heard of Thane? That's one of my bands. No, I think
he was like, "Do you want to?" He's like, "What's your name, Patrick? Would you like to be my son?"
The dude behind me like ruined that interaction for us totally. But he signed our receipt. I still have the receipt, the Denny's receipt.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Fuck yeah, dude. That was one of the greatest interactions I've ever had to like have an actual like I've had a couple times with like the guy from Casualties, the guy from Bouncing Souls over the years, like where I have these like cool, actual, genuine reactions with them. And they remember it.
Sorry, I'm making so many stupid jokes in my head.
About what?
They're like, hey, excuse me, random Mexican guy with Liberty Spikes.
No, not him. It was Jake.
Are you in the Casualties?
It was a guitar player. The Jake. No, the guy Jorge from Casualties. I'm not talking to him.
No, aren't they like for real scary?
No, Jake was a lovely guy.
I
have a great picture with him and Dom. Like when they, dude, the Casualties toured with. I know we're getting way off topic. Casualty toured with Guar once.
Yeah.
That was at
No,
the
I'm
time
not
for me.
saying-
That was right up my.
I'm not
alley.
saying like they're dickheads. I'm saying like the casualties are like actual real tough punks.
No, Jake is a sweetheart. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like that's over the years that was during that time period.
I'm not saying they don't have the capacity to be nice people. I'm saying like they probably like they seem like dudes who actually aren't like just putting on an outfit.
Oh yeah, I could. Okay,
That's what
yeah.
I mean. I'm
yeah.
not. No,
He
yeah,
was-
you can be a tough guy and be polite.
He kind of talked like a jet, like from.
Yeah, that's what
he's
I'm
like,
saying,
Yeah,
is like-
yo, you see me over here, like he's like that. So like,
Yeah,
maybe
they feel like dudes who have stories. He's like, oh yeah, when I was growing up, there was
smashed
this
a bottle.
There
over
was,
shit.
oh, there was fucking Third Street Johnny looked at me sideways and I hit him in the bottle.
But no, he was like super sweet. Yeah,
Yeah.
I get what you're talking
That's
about.
what I
yeah.
meant.
Yeah, edgy dudes. Yeah. But no, overall, like that interaction was because how much I genuinely loved Nitro Records, and I didn't think it got the respect that like Epitaph always gets. Even Fat Records, I loved. Like Nitro Records is legitimately. I was like Nitro Records had like the fucking like look
Dude.
at that resume,
And
like,
that's the shit that gets dudes like us motivated.
Yeah.
It's why, like, people who are, not to bring it up for the 20th time, but like Sleep Token fans or the MGK fans I was fighting with online,
Yeah.
they get all pissy and they're like, God, just let people like music. And it's like, no, you don't understand.
there's
There's so
literally
many good bands
Yeah.
that get fucking overlooked and pushed out of the way because music is full of horse shit like this.
Yeah.
And there's so many bands because there isn't like, you know, enough attention on these other bands, so they couldn't keep it going, that just disbanded and had to get regular jobs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And
It's like I think about that with like fucking Gallows all the time. It's like, you know, their lead singer left and a bunch of their fans turned on them, and they just, I mean, I always love to give them a little bit of shit. You're all live in England. Why did you get a Canadian singer even though Wade McNeil fucking rips?
Yeah.
It's hilarious you guys decided to go, you know, let's do that. Let's get a singer from that country that's really far away. But regardless, it's like, I think what killed the band is way more the lack of momentum from the fans and shit like that. And it's like, when I see someone who fucking MGK puts out a song literally today when we're recording, and I'm not sure yet, but I swear to God, he's ripping off the Starting Line song where they're like, tell me what you thought about when you were.
Yeah.
It literally sounds like that. And I'm like, yes, these are the guys who should get all the push. MGK, who pays fucking Travis Barker to write all of his songs. I don't know if that's true. Literally, I'm just joking around.
So building a record label and building like a team, like a team,
Yeah.
like a sports team, essentially is I think the same deal, because Nitro Records had, as far as their earlier bands,
the same way as like the back office is so much as important as the players.
you got to think. Well, no, you got to think about the great mix. You have like he had bands like AFI, the Vandals, Guttermouth,
Yeah.
Jughead's Revenge. There's so many other ones, but then he also brought in older bands, kind of like Epitaph did with like bringing in older bands like Wayne Kramer, like somebody from the MC5 or something. You need the experience, but you also have the youth.
Yeah.
But they're rookies essentially. They're farm team.
Yeah.
Like if you look at how that's expanded and like what other bands those guys have been in and other influences. So this album was produced by Warren Fitzgerald, who is the guitar player, an amazing guitar player. He's a guitar player for the Vandals, the one that fucking rips.
Yeah.
He's the one that produced this album. So immediately already like that depth.
Which album we talking about?
Hitler Bad, Vandals Good.
Oh, okay.
And it was released on, so like it's Nitro Records went from 1994 to 2007.
I was just gonna ask that. I was like, because I don't hear about them anymore.
And that's what I'm saying is like, so, but they had AFI, and they also released albums from punk bands like TSOL and The Damned, who I don't really give a shit about The Damned necessarily, but TSOL is pretty great.
I'll give the Damn some love. I never listened to them a lot, but I listened to a big podcast series about them.
Yeah.
They're one of those bands that before punk was punk, they were out there fucking ripping.
Look at this.
So I give a lot of love to the Damn.
Check-
I've never listened to TSOL. I know that's bad.
Here's some of the ones that I think are notable. Wilhelm Scream, the Aquabats, AFI, The Damned, also Guttermouth, Jughead's Revenge, The Letters Organized. That's one that I think great. The Offspring, they were re-releasing older material. Obviously, they're a larger band. TSOL and the Vandals, as well as Sloppy Seconds.
Was Nitro... Did they work with Epitaph? I can't remember.
No,
that was last week.
Yeah, that was more Hellcat.
That's Hellcat. We were talking about that last week.
Yeah. So, but they were around for, and like again, it was Dexter Holland and Greg Kay from The Offspring. They started in 1994, and for that short amount of time for them existing like that, I feel like is incredibly impressive. The mark that they had, but
yeah, what's that, like 15 years? Would you say 94 to 07?
Yeah, 07.
So it's like a good 13 years.
Yeah.
It's a solid lineup when you talk about the punk community. It's a solid lineup for just a short amount of time.
Also, Kung Fu Records is an American independent label founded in 1996 by Joe Escalante and Warren Fitzgerald of the punk rock band. Joe, I believe, is the bass player. Or either the bass player or singer. I'll double check on that. But they started the Kung Fu Records. So Kung Fu Records has quite a bit of.
I remember them.
They were getting a little bit more like jumbled kind of thing. Like they had not as great of comps. I remember getting those a couple times and being like, I like the Vandals.
Can I ask you this? Do you think it's in? Because I think it is. But do you think it's important for a label to have a broad theme to their bands?
I don't mind a. How do I put it? I don't mind because they kind of end up doing that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like Hellcat Records is like they're all kind of spooky or like edgy, like weird, like.
I guess the best example is like if you look at like back in the day, back when we were little kids, Epitaph record was like you're gonna get good punk music, and then when we got older, it's gonna be like, okay, we're a lot more emo, but it's gonna be like a lot of the good emo.
Yeah.
Now. I was like on Epitaph. I was looking at Epitaph's lineup. It's everything.
Yeah, Converge is on Epitaph.
And there's like a lot of good bands on Epitaph, but like I like how Flat Spot Records is a really good example because they don't have one specific type of band, but the broad selling point of Flat Spot Records is you're gonna get good hardcore music on this label. And it's like I feel like what's good for a label is to have like a clear.
Again, it's like a team. I think you have your
Fat Records. You have
your stars.
Yeah. Fat Records is like I'm gonna hear punk that Fat Mike would probably like.
Well, think about this. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. It's like it's curated.
Yeah,
I think that's what it is because you still have to have somewhat of an eclectic taste. And I think the older some of these labels get, they get a little too eclectic sometimes.
Yeah,
they kind of but they can be like that a little early too if they're too ambitious. But like I feel like Fat Records, if you think about it, they still had their stars. They had bands like Against Me and like Rise Against, lots of Against.
Yeah.
That like kind of hit it big. With Nitro Records, it's like AFI stuff like that. They have each one of them kind of have their heavy hitters. Yeah. But then they also have their like utility bands and their like mascots and their everything else. Like so, like each one of them should have some kind of a ska reggae version. But some of them lean more heavy that way. I like that idea. And Kung Fu Records was kind of like that. They did go more funny, goofy / ska reggae type. I think if I remember correctly, they were a little bit poppier. But like I don't mind it being a theme or like a curation from somebody. Yeah. Because otherwise I think you do that's what I like about those compilations from those albums or those record labels because they give you not only is it like a good like mixtape of some of their best songs. Yeah. And like in some of the AFI songs, because they didn't have a ton of bands, Nitro Records, they had usually 2 or 3 songs from each band. The early Punkorama. Nice. Where it would be like they're giving you like it's a sampler. It's just so fucking efficient and so awesome.
Comps don't hit the same anymore because it was something about getting that CD, however you got it, getting that CD for free. Yeah. Because now it's just like no one's gonna take a CD. Now the best way you get a comp, like the only way to do a comp is through like a playlist, and that just doesn't hit the same.
I'll still take a CD. I'll still load it. I still gotta drive.
Sure,
but you're right. I know what you're talking about. The general public, most cars don't even have it. All that kind of shit.
I will say, there's shout out to like Tsunami and the dudes in Big Boy and all these like East Bay bands. They did. I think the move is to put out like compilation records, because like the Tsunami Boys and a bunch of dudes from the East Bay put out a compilation record and just called it East Bay shit. And so like doing something that kind of like pegging a certain area with like, yo, this is the best of the best in the East Bay, calling it East Bay shit, that rips. But yeah, like the way, because dude, I would get a comp or a Warped Tour album and I would listen to that over and over and over again.
Yeah,
but
dude.
just, you know, there's a lot of benefits of streaming coming around, and you know that's just life where new cool thing comes in, old cool thing goes away.
I forgot about this. Some notable bands from Kung Fu Records, the Ataris.
Oh yeah.
So like each one of these bands have like this. They started in '96, and apparently I think are still active for over 29 years.
Yeah, I think the Ataris are still doing it.
No, the Kung Fu Records, I mean.
Kung Fu Records. Well, both then.
So, Hitler Bad, Vandals Good.
Yes.
Did you realize that this album was banned in Japan
No.
because of the
They were like
controversial title?
They were like Japan was like Hitler good, Vandals bad.
They were like, wait a minute, is this a trick? It's like, wait a minute, the controversial title. Why is this? I really wanted to press them.
Wait. Could they sell it in Germany?
The only place I saw that it was banned was Japan.
Let's be real, Japan. If Germany ain't banning this,
Right?
what are you guys?
They're like,
doing?
what? It's correct.
What year was this? 98?
98, yeah. So it was recorded in 97, 98, but released in 98. So the album Hitler Bad, Vandals Good refers to a punk rock band, Vandals, blah, blah, blah. The title is satirical commentary referencing the historical figure Adolf Hitler, who was a major figure in the Holocaust and a dictator of Nazi Germany. The Vandals, as a band, are known for their rebellious and often irreverent lyrics.
What are you reading?
It's from the computer. It's just like a description of, because I tried to find. I could not find any information on the Wikipedia on any of the things because it says that it was banned in Japan. And I tried to find like why was it banned anywhere else or anything.
It was funny when you were reading that they were like, it's a satirical title. And I go, actually it's not.
Yeah.
Because
it's just 100%
like they're
a fact.
being funny, but they mean that. And that's why it's weird it got banned.
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, that's what it says. And so when it says Japanese band, it says the album was banned in Japan due to the controversial title, which I think is even funnier. They went on a South American tour with the Offspring in 1999. That must have been nuts.
Damn, Offspring looking out.
Right? Brother, I got to tell you, the Offspring is... I have been such a supporter of theirs. Like, I liked their shit early on. Obviously, the later stuff's not my favorite. But I've never really soured on them because I think of all like how supportive I think they've always genuinely been.
My only thing with them is they kick their drummer out during COVID because he wouldn't take the vax.
Oh yeah,
and he's which on its face is gay as hell to me.
And then they did that song too. You gotta get them vaccinated.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
They did government propaganda.
I forgot all about that.
No.
Yeah.
Well, no, because
up
like
until that, I really liked them.
well, no, because like the way what the fuck? Because like they apparently waited to like start being a band again after like a lot of the restrictions got lifted and shit. So it's like he didn't need a vaccine. Yeah. But you know what the biggest part was? Regardless what you think about any of that previous shit, he was like, yeah, no, I talked to my doctor and he had like some like type of disease or something. And my doctor was like, do not get this vaccine. Yeah. It will kill you. Yeah. And he's like, yeah, I just don't want to die. Yeah. And the Offspring was like, not good enough.
Yeah. You're supposed to die for your government. But there's so this album in general is, I think, another version of like a perfect album from start to finish. You got the intro, outros. You got they even do a couple covers on this, but the song "I Know," is a song that every time I hear it makes me want to start a band. Like every single time I hear it, I go like, God damn it, I love this so much. It's like one of those things where like and it's like one of those things like so you play an instrument, obviously you play drums.
Yeah.
Are there songs like that where you like hear the drum part and you're like, man, I would love to play this song? Like it makes me want to be a cover band.
Yeah, kind of.
You know?
There's just because with the way I know how to drum, there will be like I'll listen to certain bands and I'll listen to their songs and I go, that's what I would do broadly if I was drumming in this band. And then I actually save those to a list of like I will learn all these songs on drums. So yeah,
that's like one of those.
I do have. There are certain songs that because there's certain songs that are hard for me to learn on drums because I just go like I wouldn't do what you're playing. So it's like it's harder for me to remember what to play and shit like that. But yes, when I hear certain songs and I hear the drumming and it matches up to my sensibilities, he's jumping on that foot. I love when they just bite their foot.
What are you doing,
it's
brother?
crazy. But yeah, when the drumming matches up to my personal drumming sensibilities, it makes me very much so want to like start playing and shit.
Yeah, that's one of those songs, and also it's like it's a thing where like because I play bass. That's one of those ones like they're a band that has so many fun bass parts that are like, man, I would love to fucking play that. And it's so cool. I love their way of being a pop punk band essentially.
Yeah.
But having that that special kind of like of identity and
they stick out more because they're one of those band. They're a band in a genre where you don't have to be good at their instruments,
and they're so
like,
incredible.
And they're like, we're actually really good at our instruments.
Money's Not an Issue is another song that I really love of theirs. Like it's one of those things where like it's like a sweet. They have a lot of those sweet love songs, or like those ones where
tonight.
Yeah, where they're talking about.
Go out tonight.
He says, well, tonight you're in luck because guess what? Here's what. Hey, babe, we're going to go out tonight. Just bring your appetite for luxurious fun because money's not an issue. Go on, baby. Now make a wish. I'm feeling Irish rich. Pot of gold.
I didn't even know you said that.
Feel free to supersize because tonight your dreams are realized. Like that kind of thing. I always love that goofy, the silly side of like the Girlfriend's Dead song. I cannot stress enough of being a genius level goofy. You know how like Weird Al Yankovic is funny on the surface, but then you think about the level of talent and the level of effort that goes into a lot of the writing or even music and shit like that. Like knowing that he does not use any tracks, they record that music, all that shit. It makes me so happy to like. Revisiting them has really kind of reiterated the fact that like I'm rediscovering a lot of the shit that I didn't really appreciate when I was younger.
And Money's Not an Issue is a good example of like from a drumming standpoint. I know that one particular where it is like those lyrics you just sang, like if someone saw that just on paper they might roll their eyes, but it's like, brother, listen to the song. Like I can tell from a drumming standpoint. And this is why you appreciate it more. You can just hear in the drumming. He's like, "Hey, what if I just fucking went for it?"
When the My Girlfriend's Dead is to me, I think is like such a funny thing, and probably even Money's No Issue. Both of them are awesome, hilarious pitches for like sketches or even a movie, like I've got an idea for a movie song is actually.
Oh yeah, you could probably use a lot of these songs in like a
for
TV
a sketch
sitcom.
Idea.
Yeah,
like this. My Girlfriend's Dead. Not wanting to tell somebody that my girlfriend broke up with me, so I'm just telling her she's dead instead. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
So, but also, I've got an ape drape.
That was I got an ape drape and Oi for the World were like my two favorite Vandals songs back in the day.
Teaching you so many other words and references to the mullet is another genius touch to that, where they're talking about every different version. Hockey hair.
Well, and they're also figuring out
Norco neck warmer. I never pictured until I had the actual the lyrics actually written.
You know
out.
what? I've never even considered what he actually says.
Norco neck warmer.
I always hear him say something like Norco nipple warmer or something like that.
Yeah, it never really like it's a something neck warmer or something. You never can really quite picture, but each one of them is perfectly like sung and perfectly pronunciated and all that shit. It's a true feat Too Much Drama. Oh wait, the other one was the cover that they did was I took a picture of the wrong one, but it was hold on, I got the track listing here.
So Long Farewell?
No, well they did that one, but there was another one that they did was it was Come Out Fighting.
What's that a cover
So
of?
it's a Pennywise song, and they did it.
Really?
Yep, it's featuring also the writer is Jason Matthew Thirsk.
That's a Pennywise song?
Yeah.
I would have never guessed in a million years that was a Pennywise cover.
Originally featured on the album, I believe, About Time. It was a song that was dedicated by the song who it was written by, Jason Matthew Thirsk, who took his own life. It is
Who Brohem's about.
was not about originally,
But they sing it for him.
They switched it to him.
Oh.
So actually, Brohem is actually on, I believe, About Time. He's playing the bass line. But then, it's a much different feel, obviously. But they redid it in full circle after he committed suicide. But it is incorrect saying that it was written originally by the lead singer, Jason Matthew Thirsk. He is actually Jim something or other. I can't remember his name, but it's a different guy. But they were essentially their bros, But they do that song, and as well as So Long Farewell. Euro Barge was famously featured on Tony Hawk. They have been featured plenty of times on, Live in America. You know
what song on this album fucks me up?
It's from start to back a perfect album. I cannot suggest Japan being more wrong ever. I say we bomb them again.
Yeah, well,
No. Andy?
No. Nope, you're not being fair. You're not being fair. You're in your emotions. I will say this. We're even now.
Okay. You know what?
We're even.
But can I say this? You're on warning.
You're on warning, Japan. You've had too good for too long.
Yeah. Been too long not being nuked. All right.
You don't think I got Godzilla's number on here? I will say I do want to point out. You mentioned it earlier. Most of this album is funny songs, but there are like 2 or 3 songs that just come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And like you're listening to it, it's so funny. Oh yeah, dude, you're literally just being like, you're coming off of Money Sign Issue. I've got an ape drape, and if the government could read my mind, I'm thinking of you.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, all right. Here's the saddest song you've ever heard about divorce.
Yeah.
The way that they sideswipe you with Too Much Drama is actually kind of nuts.
They got
Because the line, he goes, too much drama, dad and mama trade you back and forth before you turn 18. And it's just basically saying about how, like, there's a bunch of drama going on in your family life, so you watch a bunch of TV to see a happy family.
And tell me that's not reminiscent of Offspring. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
It reminds me so much of an Offspring song, and then realizing they've been on Nitro Records.
That was one of, what was it? The Kids Aren't All Right.
Yeah, like essentially a lot of early or like mid, let's say, Offspring. I wouldn't say early, but like mid Offspring.
You know what's funny? Yeah, mid Offspring is good, but then the later Offspring is
actually
mid.
Yeah. There you go.
Teamwork.
That's why I felt weird saying. I was like, well, mid Offspring is actually late Offspring. Hey, Offspring, I love you, but that Vax stuff is weird.
You guys know.
Also,
no. Whatever. Vax stuff, gay, but more about the music. You guys know what songs you wrote.
I saw them over at Camp Anarchy. I'll salute them. They're on the wall. I got to see them from backstage. Like, I saw the whole crowd and everything.
Oh, really?
Oh my God, brother!
What year?
2000. What does it say on the thing? Does it say 2019?
That's Jeff Foxworthy.
Camp Anarchy, the other one.
Jeff
with the Fat
Foxworthy
Boys
was
on
at
it.
Camp
No, the other picture next to
We're
it.
not pressed. We're Buddha.
What's the 2019?
I think this is You Might Be a Redneck. Yeah, 2019.
Jeff Fox. Wait, hold on. Jeff. That's when I met the guy from.
So he did stand up at Camp Anarchy?
Yeah. No, that's what I was trying to tell you. He was there, but what year was it? It's in the other one. Yeah.
Oh, this is 2019.
Yeah. He's like, if you pretty fly for a white guy. No, it was that.
I like that song that goes.
Meeting the guy from Fear, the lead singer from Fear, the old guy, he was such a sweetheart, they ripped so hard. That and Offspring were two of like I think that was like the first night that we were there. It was fucking so incredible. Like Offspring, they still got it. New drummer and all, vaxxed and all. So we talked a little bit about what we could talk about next time. I know that I already had a vote for one that I wanted to submit, but I can hold that for next time if you have two, because I feel like I kind of suggested both of these. I know you suggested Hitler bad, Vandals good.
No, I technically suggested this last one.
I was
You can
gonna
have this week. You can have next week's if you want.
Mine was going to be Rancid 2000.
Oh yeah. I wanted to do that one because
Okay.
you sold that album pretty hard.
Oh my god, I loved it so. I loved it so. Oh,
loved it
so I
so.
guess you would have to pick an album around the year 2000.
The year 2000.
Hopefully, somewhat. And honestly, we'll find out if our streak continues if we pick two incredible albums that are so very similar.
What year would I have been in 2000? When did actually? Let me think.
Okay, I'm gonna let you think.
Let me think. This
All right,
might take
everybody, shut up. This one came out August 1st of 2000, so anywhere around there.
I was gonna say Pennywise, but I didn't get into Pennywise till 2003.
2000 Pennywise might have been.
There's 2001 Pennywise.
I know that is that Straight Ahead.
From the Ashes was the Pennywise album. Oh, the one before that I'm sorry, I don't know the one before that. That would be more accurate.
The one before that would be Land of the Free question mark. I always said it that way. Land of the Free question mark.
Land of the.
Hey guys, F Authority. I loved seeing that video. Censored. It was so adorable. Oh, I see a kitty cat running. Sorry. I'm a little distracted.
Authority?
F Authority. Oh, take it easy, guys. We better not curse on our video. I'm like, why are you even putting out a censored video? You're saying fuck authority. What are you saying when you're saying authority? Silent majority. Raised by a sister. Now we gotta rise against them.
I could give you a.
Sick of your treason.
Do you want to listen to an OK Green Day album?
Yeah, what's 2000 Green Day?
Warning.
Oh, I don't hate that one.
It's not their best, but there's a lot of good songs on there.
I would love to revisit that as an.
You want to do Warning?
An elder boy. Yeah, I'm not an old man. I'm just an old boy.
I want to be a minority.
I don't hate that album. I really don't. I remember even saying that back in the day. Blood, sex, and booze.
Actually, yeah. No, you know what?
I don't know how. That's not going to be very similar to
Oh,
Rancid, but I'll take
actually,
it.
yeah. Macy's Day Parade. That's made me almost cry a couple times.
Okay.
Misery is really good. Well, I cried because I didn't have any penis. Castaway is a really good song. That's
about the movie.
Castaway. Yeah.
I remember thinking that. I remember genuinely thinking, does this connect it to the movie?
And knowing you
I
just
dwelled on it.
knowing you just took that as a fact.
Yep.
And never clarified it.
You got me, Daddy.
You probably told a couple people that was what it was about.
Yeah, I will next week.
There's people out there going like,
Damn, really?
wait.
Tom Hanks.
They just end up being a Drag the Lake listener, and they're like, wait a minute, Pat's a liar?
the whole time.
He's been lying the whole fucking
All right, so that's
time.
what we'll do next week. I gotta piss so bad. Sorry. All right, we'll see you next week.
I was just gonna go until you